next speaker is a national level athlete, and she now brings that same energy and discipline to her coaching work. I'll switch further. Here, this is her, Darinka Burovska, and she recently experienced a deep personal transformation, and she's gonna share with us some insights and tell us how inner work can help us to actually unlock our performance and sustainable growth as an entrepreneur or solopreneur.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Berlin. How's everyone feeling on the second day? Woo! So excited to see so many of you here today interested into this topic, my favorite topic, authenticity. Can I get the mic a bit louder, please? Yes, I'm loud. So, very important topic. And if someone of you has heard the phrase, I don't chase, I attract, today we're going to see how we're going to implement this phrase or this mindset into business. And today is an extra special day for me because what you see here, Nova, Darinka Nova, that's my new personal brand. And today it's where it officially goes live. Darinka Nova is a space where high achievers and solopreneurs go from surviving their business to thriving it. And if someone wants to get to know more about the naming and meaning, you can check it on my profile. And before we go to our talk, let's take a couple of big breaths together. I want everyone to arrive in the space. I want all of you to feel connected with yourself and with each other. So I invite everyone to sit up, maybe roll your neck from side to side, roll your shoulders back, and let's take 3 or 4 big breaths together. So all together, big breath in, all the way to your maximum, hold for a couple of seconds, and exhale slowly. One more big breath together. Hold, and let's exhale slowly. Final breath. Hold, and slowly exhale. Everyone is in the room, present? Okay. Now, let's get the energy up again. So I invite you to join this Mentimeter, the Authenticity Pulse. You can just scan with your phone. And we will have, yeah, you have it here. And our first question for the day, how aligned are you between what you're currently working on and what you really actually want to do? I'm really, really curious. Okay, we see how people are voting. More people joining, more people voting. I love that. Couple of people left to place their vote, their number. Three more people. Come on, come on, come on. 2 more. 2 more are voting. Okay. Okay, 6.3. That's a fair good number of how aligned are you. And now let's go to our next question. The actual authenticity pulse. Which version of you showed in the room today, right now with us? The builder, you're aligned, energized, and motivated from within. The polished one, you look great on the outside, but panic on the inside. The prover, building to prove something to someone. The tired one, exhausted from grinding and working. Or the honest one, no idea who I am outside of my work. This is a good one, and I'm very curious. If someone wants to sit, we have more spaces there, by the way. Okay, a few more people voting. Ten more? Okay, let's see. I'm really curious. Okay, we have a wild mixture of versions today, but the aligned ones are the biggest percentage. So I'm very happy that most of us, or not most, but 33% of us are aligned. We will come back to this later. And now back to our talk. I will start first with a personal story. I will share a lot of personal stories today. As Mira said, I went through a lot of personal transformation in the last month, so I will try to share a lot of insights from that time, that transformation. But first, I will start with a personal story where this authenticity was applied in business. I was approached by a founder who wanted help scaling his team and his company. And he was super driven. He wanted to go 10x by next year, B2B, all of that energy and all of that relentless drive that the founders have. However, the reality was that the stage of the company and of the product was so early stage that it was very far from scaling, let alone 10x. So we had to have a very honest discussion, and I told him that what he needs is actually not a business advice or a product management coaching or help. What he needs was a deep inner work to understand why this relentless drive, where this drive is coming from, and why it's clouding his judgment. Because he was a successful founder, and he knew that he is far from 10x scaling. So after a long, honest conversation, he understood, and he he understood my message, and then after a couple of days, he called me, and he said, "You know, Darinka, no one has ever said something like this to me before. Everyone just tells me the thing I asked for." And even though he did not become my client at this moment, he decided to go with his path with different coach. He introduced me to 3 of his founders in his community who became my clients. He introduced me to his investors, and he invited me to speak of some of the events of their community. And all because I didn't saw him as a deal and try to sell him something. I was honest, and I saw him as a human being, and I shared honestly what I saw. So let's get to our topic. But before I jump, I want to introduce myself, and I will not share my certifications, my qualifications, because I believe in the world we're living in today, this is not important. I will share a bit about myself from personal side, so you can connect with me on a human level and not on just professional level. So I'm Darinka. At my core, I am an endlessly curious adventurer with entrepreneurial mindset and athlete's energy, or that's how I feel, how I identify. And I was, as Miro mentioned, a national level athlete. In athletics, I was competing on national levels, and that energy and that drive from the arena is something I bring to my coaching, to my work, and everywhere with me. I was, one day, I actually did a scratch map, and I realized that I traveled to 58 countries, and I lived in 5 countries. And for everyone who has moved abroad, you know that moving abroad gives you a different level of perspective, different level of growth. And because I've traveled to all different continents, that gave me the opportunity to zoom out from daily life, from daily business, and get a bit of global perspective. And this global perspective is what I bring also to my work. And finally, maybe the most important, my solopreneur journey here in Berlin that triggered the biggest personal and spiritual growth I've experienced. When I moved to Berlin 7 years ago, I moved here by myself. I didn't know anyone. I didn't speak the language. I had to start everything from scratch by myself. And this was quite a personal growth, as you can imagine. I would say it was not that much professional growth. It was mostly personal and recently a spiritual growth. And over the last months, I had this personal transformation, and everything I share today, I will try to bring this energy and these insights today in the room. So first, let's start with a very important topic, or a topic that we talk a lot. And now I will ask you with show of hands, has anyone here ever experienced burnout? Okay, almost 80% everyone, maybe 90%. Today I want us to reframe how we see burnout, because burnout is normally seen as a bad thing, a sign of weakness, and we shy from it, we hide it. However, there is a Robert Kagan, a researcher from Harvard, who studied how adults grow and how our mind develops. And he found out that as adults, we continue to grow and to adopt and to change perspective and change how we see the world and ourselves during the life. And therefore, those moments of burnout or crisis that we call in our 40s and 30s are actually not mental health challenges. They're not weakness. They are signs that we are evolving and that we are ready to evolve and go to the next level. So those mental breakdowns are not weakness, they are developmental thresholds. When we reach this stage, it means that our body is giving a signal that we need to change something in our life and we are ready to evolve our identity. So, as I promised, I will talk a lot about my personal stuff, and I will talk about my 2 developmental thresholds. As you see, I was in Berlin for the last 7 years, going through several iterations of personal and professional growth, and this was not so easy. I experienced 2 developmental thresholds. The first one I call the high achievers trap. Why I call it like this? Because we high achievers, ambition people, the more we achieve, the more we want more, and it's a never-ending loop. It's the trap. And my first burnout happened in the stage of my career where everything that I wanted, the external achievements, the promotions, I was getting it. I was working in a scale-up. When I joined, we just raised 70 million Series B, and I was getting everything I wanted in the external reality. However, internally, it was a completely different story. I was constantly stressed, constantly burnout, constantly brain fogged, very negative loops, very low energy. I had to really push myself to work. And after some time, I had a complete breakdown. And then after some years, I had my second burnout, which I call it the complete inner values misalignment. This burnout was borderline existential because at that stage, I was so blocked on all of my levels that I was basically didn't see how I will move forward. And this happened also a combination of factors on personal and professional level. I was completely disconnected with the topic I was working on. And on personal level, I also had several challenges, and this happened all at the same time. This burnout was existential, but then it turned out to be the most transformational one. And I've been asked a lot of times, okay, you've had a burnout once. What happened that you experienced twice? Aren't you supposed to learn from the first mistake and then don't repeat the second mistake? Yes, that's true. My mistake was that the moment I recovered from the first burnout, I went straight into all in to pushing to the same high achievers trap, more, achieve more. Never rewired the relationship with success, achievement, and external validation. I just reloaded the same operating system and pressed play and went again to high achievers trap. Oops. So I wasn't burned out from actually working too hard. None of us burns out from working too hard and from having a high schedule. We burn out when we have a complete internal misalignment of values, of our internal reality, of what we want to do and what actually our life is. And as we saw from the Harvard researcher, Kagan, this is not a weakness or a mental health challenge, it's evolution of your identity. So, I'm taking this moment to ask every one of you in the room today to reframe how you see burnout. Burnout is not a challenge, mental health challenge or a weakness, it's a sign that we are ready to grow and evolve. So next time if you're going through burnout or if you're going through burnout now, don't see it as a bad thing. Don't see it as something you should hide away. See it as a way of you are evolving, you're growing to next level, and this is something we should honor it. Okay, now to our real topic, what is authenticity? There's so much hype about authenticity now. Be your true, authentic self, connect with yourself. There's so much going on LinkedIn about this. But what really actually authenticity is? It's not branding exercise. Authenticity is doing the inner work and arriving a profound realization about yourself. This means that you are knowing yourself so much and you've recovered all of your limiting beliefs that you have such a realization about yourself that you unlock your actual authentic superpowers. Every person here in the room is already so uniquely authentic. And now I want every one of you today to take a moment to think for yourself how uniquely, exceptionally uniquely, extraordinarily uniquely, and authentic you are. And I'll help you with that. Think about all of the different perspectives that you gathered over the course of your lifetime. From the countries that traveled, from everything you've learned, from all of your interests, all of your hobbies, combined with all your unique knowledge that you gathered with all of different ways of acquiring knowledge, gathered through your own unique brain. So every person here in the room has their own unique brain, how you process information. Every one of us has their own way of how we learn, how we want to gather information. We all have different interests, different hobbies, different way of traveling, different way of doing sports. All of this in combination makes every one of us very uniquely authentic. So I want to ask you to take a moment for yourself now and think all of these unique, authentic perspectives, knowledge, everything you've gathered over the course of your lifetime that makes you especially unique. You took the moment, you understood how unique you are? Okay, but now we know we are unique, we are exceptionally different. Even if they're two siblings, they are no two same people, because we all go through this course of our lifetime and we acquire different knowledge, different perspectives, and that is our unique superpower. However, we can't access those superpowers because we are buried in limiting beliefs, in identities, based on how the society taught us how we should behave and what we should do. And every one of us is authentic. We just can't see it yet. What is blocking our superpowers? Judith talked about this yesterday. Sarah also talked in the opening talk. What is blocking our superpowers? The imposter syndrome, the ego, fear of boundaries, fear of speaking up, fear of speaking your truth, the constant need to push, the constant need to prove. All of these are just lenses, and they are layers between our true authentic powers and between who authentic we are, and they are blocking for us to unleash our superpowers, our gifts, and our best version of ourselves. And as a solopreneur, we are the business. Our internal growth, our internal state is directly reflected to our business. How we feel inside is reflected to our business outside, our results and our growth. Emma Grede, the co-founder of Good American, she had an interview for Forbes, and she said, "You are the most important business you'll ever run." She's right. You are the business. There's no corporate war between the customer and us. We are the business, we are the brand. So the most authentic we are, the more connected we are with ourselves, the better, the more successful business we have. So reframe how you see authenticity. This is insight number 2, reframe number 2. It's not a branding exercise, it's doing the inner work so you can unlock your authentic superpowers. Okay, now we get to the actual real stuff, the inner work that changes your business. After the second burnout, I spent 4.5 months in Thailand. I did a lot yoga teacher training, as what you do when you burn out twice in startup tech world. You go to Thailand, do yoga teacher training. I did not become yoga teacher yet, but it's coming. Then I did a 10-day silent Vipassana retreat. I did all of this somatic therapy, all of the therapies and all of the healings that you can imagine in Thailand. I lived there for 4.5 months. And it was a lot of going on, a lot of up and downs, a lot of realizations about yourself. And I will try to share this energy and the insights from this time here in the room. But first, I want us to break another misconception about inner healing, because there's so much going on about what inner healing is, about resolving your limiting beliefs, your traumas. So I want us today to have another realization or another reframe what inner healing is. So inner healing is the act of letting go of your past conditioning, of your limiting beliefs, and creating new, empowering belief system for ourselves, so that we can embrace the unknowns of the future with confidence. In the world we're living in, there's so much uncertainty, so much going on. But when you create this empowering belief system about yourself, then you embrace these uncertainties with better confidence. So the first most transformative insight I got from this inner work was dissolving the hidden beliefs running your decision. This is all the limiting beliefs, all the subconscious patterns that run quietly in your subconscious mind. And over the course of our lifetime, we accumulate those beliefs. Those are any experience which caused intense emotion, intense reaction during our lifetime. This is an imprint of our nervous system. And look at this like a lens. Imagine you really have a lens in front of your eye, and it was really put in front. So everything you see yourself and the reality is distorted to this through these lenses, which you gathered over the course of your lifetime. You can think about it as the operating system who is running in the back and you have no awareness of it. Those lenses distort how you see yourself, how you see the reality. And those are making you clouded decisions. You constantly feel like you need to push. If you want to take a rest, you feel wrong or you feel like falling behind. Your judgment gets clouded. You don't make rational business decisions. And every one of us has different version of it, but the bottom line is that those decisions are actually not yours. Those are the decisions through those lenses. And I'll share mine. So over this period where I was doing a lot of inner work, a lot of iterations and discovering about my subconscious patterns, this came up as one of my biggest limiting beliefs. So when I was 5, I was performing. There was an end of kindergarten show of a ballet performance, and I was really looking forward to wear this beautiful sparkling dress. However, by the time I was about to get the dress, there was no sparkling dress left for me. Instead, I was given a plain dress, and because of that, I was placed on the back of the room. And this seemingly insignificant moment when I was fine left an imprint of my nervous system that I'm not good enough to deserve that beautiful thing. And if I ever want to deserve anything beautiful, I need to work for it. There's no room for mistake. I need to be the best. I need to excel. And this subconscious belief was running through my life in the background as a lens, distorting the reality for almost all my life until I discovered it. And every one of us has a different imprint, a different experience that causes some, and we have different versions of these lenses, of these limiting beliefs. But the truth is that those are the lenses that distort how we see the world and ourselves, and it's clouding our judgment. And if we have a lot of those, then we go to this inner conflict and we ended up burnout or in identity crisis. And when we are in this limiting belief, you are not yourself and you're acting in survival. What I mean by survival? Survival is the version of you, the level of subconscious limiting beliefs, of lenses you have that you're constantly trying to put yourself in these limiting beliefs and to act in the world you are, so you can survive and you can feel loved and belonging. And when you are into this survival mode, you're not making rational decisions. You're acting from fear, from pressure, and those decisions are not yours. So what is inner healing? Inner healing is resolving those lenses, resolving those limiting beliefs, and moving from survival to purpose. Once you do that, once you resolve the beliefs, once you connect with your true authentic self, then everything changes, not just in your business, but also in your life. You are becoming more productive and more creative, better problem solving, not because you work more, but because your nervous system and your mind is not hijacked by fear. It's actually now free, so you can actually connect with your superpower and be more productive. And from this place, you connect with conviction, you connect with the purpose, and you're so convinced and so fulfilled with what you're doing that the motivation comes naturally from within. And there's nothing more attractive and no greater motivation than the one from the inside. When you're connected with your purpose, with your superpowers, with your gifts, with what you really want to do, that's the greatest motivation you'll ever need and you'll ever feel. And there's no more attractive energy from someone that's coming from this place. So, insight number 3 and inner healing number 1, try to have awareness of your limiting beliefs and on those lenses, and try to reframe how you see first yourself and then the world. When you dissolve those beliefs, you connect with your superpowers, and then is when everything changes. Inner work number 2, this is about detaching from the ego or seeing your clients as humans, not as deals. If you remember my story at the beginning. And the further I did this inner work, the more I connected with the more I changed how I connect with people, especially in business, especially with clients. And for this shift, we have when the ego is running the show. In that case, you constantly think about yourself. What do I get? How do I prove myself? What do I achieve? And in that case, you become those taker energy salesperson that nobody really connects to, and then you constantly focus on yourself. When you detach from the ego, when you stop building your whole identity around achievement and around competition, around what do I get, me, I, in that case, you resolve this, you detach from that, and the whole architecture of I need to be more so I can feel enough collapses. And in that case, when you detach yourself from the ego, when you remove your identity of that, and when you connect with your purpose, then you switch from what do I get to what do I give. And when you reach this stage, what is left is that you don't see the client in front of you as a deal or as revenue number. You see him as a human being going through the same challenges, through the same path as you are. So when this shift happens, you move from what do I get? How can I accumulate more? How do I prove myself? How do I get me, mine? This completely goes away, and then you connect with your purpose, you connect with your best self, and then what replaces is a completely different question. How can I best contribute to my community? How can I be of service? And what can I give wholeheartedly? And this is a very important shift because everyone who does this inner work and is aware of this ego, and then you make this shift, then everything changes, especially in your business, because then finally you connect with your clients on business level, with your collaborators on human level, and you don't see them as a revenue number, you see them as human beings. And everyone can feel when you are actually really want to help someone and when you actually see them as revenue number, because all of you in the room, I believe, knows those salespeople that just want to sell you something, they just push you to something when they're generally not trying to help you, and no one wants this energy. So when you make this shift, you completely change your energy and your mindset, and then I believe this is one of the greatest shifts a human being can do. So reframe how you see the clients. Don't see them as revenue number. See them as human beings going through the same challenges as you are. Okay. Then, inner work 3, give your best, then let go of the outcome. Detach from the fruit of your actions. This was actually a very challenging shift for me to understand when I heard it first time when I was on my yoga teacher training. And what is this about? My first reaction was, how can I detach from the fruit of my actions? Isn't that why I'm performing the actions, so I can enjoy the fruits of my actions? And exactly that's the challenge. We grip so tight to the outcomes, to achievements, to something that oftentimes it's out of our control, or oftentimes this is the outcomes, the external achievements. We have no direct control of it. These outcomes are influenced of so many external factors that oftentimes are out of our control. And that's, if we grip so tightly, we are in this so tight energy that it's not attractive and people can feel that. So when you do the best you can, when you always show up fully, you engage fully, you write the best pitch you ever written, you put your best thinking in your client discovery call, you show up fully, you engage with your best intentions, and then you let go of the outcome. You don't follow up on the clients, you don't refresh your email every 2 hours, you don't offer discounts to clients, you don't reach out to more clients, you do your best, and then you detach from the outcome. When you stop needing the deal, when you're so griply, when you remove your grip from the outcome, and when you stop needing, you move from this needy, desperate sales energy to grounded presence. And people can feel confidence, can feel grounded presence, and this is what attracts. So, reframe how you see results, always give your best, always engage fully, and then let go of the outcomes. And we are coming to the end. I want to share one more personal story where I received some compliment that really left with me. I was organizing an event at a startup accelerator in Berlin, and it was a workshop, and 30 minutes before the workshop, everything started to going wrong. We had electricity cut, technical problems, and the person who was bringing the materials for the workshop was late, and he arrived 10 minutes before. So guests were coming in, and we are very far from prepared. So what happened? I started welcoming the guests, no reaction, no rushing around, complete presence, and just slowly welcoming into the workshop. And while the team was at the workshop, we slowly smoothed and started the workshop, and we actually had a very successful event. Participants at the end shared how great time they have at the event. And the director of the Venture Cafe came to me after the event, and she said, Darinka, you know what? Life is full of challenges, full of problems. In business, especially in life, always something happens. But if I can choose, I choose to have problems with you. And I was like, wow, in this world of challenges and uncertainties, someone to tell you that they want to have problems with you, yes, this is the compliment I want to have. And this was so, it left with me, it left me speechless that I wanted to share. But why I share this? Because it happened by coincidence that the CEO of another accelerator was in the room and heard that discussion. And then after a short discussion with him, a short talk, he asked me to collaborate on their projects. So I'm sharing this as an example that you can get clients, that you don't need always sales pipeline, you don't need constant follow-up. You can just be in your best authentic version yourself, present, grounded, doing your best self without gripping to the outcomes, and then you attract clients. Okay, I think we are almost on time. This was a lot of personal stories, a lot of motivation and inspiration, I hope, but now I want to leave you with something tangible, something you can already start doing. So we will do 2 shifts. First, the lens check. Next time when you have a reaction which is disappropriate, or you can do a retrospective, a reflection of a reaction that happened to you, I want you to connect with your body, take a breath, take a pause, look into your body and ask yourself, which version is playing right now? Which lenses are coming right now? And where is this coming from? Because oftentimes, most of the times, any intense reaction we have right now, it's not from the current moment, it's coming from somewhere. And the next one, the gratitude journal, I ask you every night before you go to bed to write down what are you grateful for today. Maybe you help someone for something, and this has nothing to do with your achievements, with the work. This is just something you felt grateful for, or something that you help someone today. This way, we started to rewiring our brain to notice small acts of gratitude, small acts of service, so then we can remove our focus from achievement to gratitude. And gratitude is what makes us better. Okay, we are coming to the close. And as we saw at the beginning, different versions of us show up today. And the deeper question is, all of these versions are just a grown-up costume for the same question. Do I actually really know myself? So I ask you, do you really know yourself here? And here's what I believe. The next frontier for solopreneur growth, it's not another strategy, system, or milestone. It's you. So when we do the inner work, when we connect with our authentic superpowers, with values, with purpose, when we start operating from this fulfillment and gratitude, everything changes. And not just in your business. First, you become better people for yourself. You become more fulfilled, more confident, more productive, and just have a better, joyful life. You wake up every day to a life you want to live in. Then you become better people for the people closest around you, for your family, for your partner, for your friends and community. And then you become a better business partner, better collaborator, better team player. And if all of us here do the inner work, then this ripples outwards further than any one of us can imagine, into better teams, better communities, better cultures, and eventually to a better world. for ourselves, for our community, and for the generations to come. So, stop surviving and start living your best life. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Darinka. That was a very, very interesting talk. I think I can go along with most of the things you said and have experienced that also in my life.
Thank you. I believe everyone has gone through some of these challenges. Yeah. Before we go to questions, I have created a quick 7-day WhatsApp group for us, for anyone who wants to start understanding the limiting beliefs, the triggers, everything you want to know about yourselves. It's more helpful when we do it in a community together. So if someone feels like doing that, you can join this WhatsApp group. And from Monday, we start exercises and practices every day for 7 days that can help us to discover our true selves.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Seems like a nice offer. So we have a couple minutes left before lunch break. And do we have any questions? I can't put the QR code on for Slido at the moment. So maybe you just lift your arm and question away. Any questions?
Do you need a mic?
Yeah, there. Okay.
What do you think about the gap that you burn out from what you love? So that's a very interesting question. First, I don't believe you can burn out from what you love because the amount of work doesn't burn you out. It burns you out the misalignment that you're not completely aligned with what you do. It can happen that, as we saw Robert Kagan, Marty Kagan is the product guy. As we go through our adult life, we change ourselves. We change our relationship to success, to family, to what we are right now. And if you really love something and you overdo, after a couple of months or mostly years, it can happen that you don't like to do this anymore. But you're into your operating system, you do this the same because you loved it, and then burnout happens because you don't love this anymore. You've changed. This can be hobby, can be work, can be relationship, can be anything. The truth is, if you really love to do this, you cannot burn out. That's from my experience. You burn out because you changed as a person, and what you currently was, what you loved, has changed, and it's no longer applicable. Thank you. Any more questions? Yes. Yeah, that's true. So if there's an underlying mental health condition, this needs a different type of treatment. This is what I shared here is for every one of us who is going through normal life, career, relationships, and we don't have any underlying challenge. It's just over the course of the lifetime this happens for us, and it's the inner healing, creating the new empowering belief system. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes? Definitely. I cannot stress enough how much it changed my life. I can give you an example how I felt before if you want. So I was literally, before I signed my yoga teacher training, I sat down and I said to myself, I cannot do this anymore. I cannot do any of this business tech stuff. And I was calculating how many yoga sessions per week I need to do in order to survive. So I was this level of down. And then over so much work, now my mind just exploded. Now I feel I can change the world, basically, with this healing. And this happened over 6 months. 6 months intense work, yoga, meditation, all of this healing, therapy, somatic therapy, combination of different factors, and constantly going through the pains, constantly pushing yourself down, constantly reframing, constantly understanding your beliefs, because what I shared is just one belief. Over these 6 months of inner work and healing and going with the therapist to the pain points, there were so many other limiting beliefs that came. I wrote about this in my blog. You can find it on my LinkedIn. It's a 45-minute read, so you really need to have like a weekend read if someone wants to go into details. But I go into detail how I got an anxiety attack, how I went from anxiety attack to further digging down to find out that that anxiety attack was, the root cause was this 5-year-old ballet performance. More questions? If someone wants to stay, I wanted us to do a group exercise together. What helped me the most is that I was so much concerned how others see me, because I grew up in Eastern Europe where you really need to behave by the book, and I was raised by 2 teachers. Both of my parents are teachers, so I was even more raised by the book. And I have no room to escape. And as I shared at the beginning, I'm adventurous. I want to try things. I want to do things. And I was in such a conflict for a long time, and it took me a lot of inner work to understand this about myself. So what helped me was to understand that everyone has their own beliefs and their own way how they see the world and how someone should be. And it's not our responsibility how others see the world and how others see themselves and how others see us. So the biggest reframe that helped me was I was repeating to myself, it's not my responsibility to manage others people's opinion of myself. So I would like us to repeat this together in the room. Will you be guys up for it? Okay, I will repeat it one more time, and second time we do it together. Okay, so I say it first. It's not my responsibility to manage other people's perspective and opinion about me. Now together. It's not my responsibility to manage other people's perspectives and opinions of me. Do you want to do it again? Yeah. I think it's enough. I think you got it, guys. Okay, guys, take care of yourselves. Life is short, life is beautiful. See you next time.
Enjoy lunch. See you later. Thank